Hello, dear viewer, back again for another beer review, eh? Well, I have got one for you. We'll see what we get as well. It is another Northern Monk and Friends. And this time it's these guys here, Heist. And it's an article by the lovely Robin Gilmore, talking about how they set up a brewery in Sheffield back in 2017. So if Leeds wasn't up north, Sheffield is definitely not up north. It's the Midlands, damn it. But never mind. We shall see what kind of beer it is. The other issue I have with this is what it says at the bottom. West Coast Session IPA. Ah, dearie me. Snatch and grab, the graffiti says, 4.1%. Well, it's definitely a pale ale, not a session IPA. But you never know. I've had stronger pale ales than this one before. And there we go. They are the Northern Monkeys and the Heist Brew. We've decided to put a crew together. You want in? Of course you do, you son of a bitch. Right, let's see what we can get. So 4.1, blah, 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 blah. It's over here, isn't it? We've got barley, hops, water, yeast, etc. Ah, interesting. So, for a change, no wheat, no oats. We are keeping it old school, which is good. I'm liking that. Now, reading not from the can, but from over here, we have got Centennial, Comet, and Simcoe. So interesting. In fact, very similar to a malt bill before, apart from they've swapped out Citra for Centennial in this one. And it's got some Munich malt, which is kind of a wheaty malt. So I'm expecting this one to be a tiny bit hazy. Let us see what we get, dear viewer. Got the old tulip glass one more time. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah. Okay. It is not too hazy. It's reasonably clear actually. You can see my ugly mug through there. Not at all bad. That is near enough. Damn it, bang on. Can we do anything funky with this? Probably not. So let's do one of these. Maybe that. Back a bit, left a bit, right a bit. Let's see what we get with that. Ooh, bit of that berry. Little bit of greenery, but also that fruity kind of thing going on there. Maybe a bit of grassiness from the Comet. And that kind of bubblegum thing. I do like that. Centennial. Oh, I love it. I love Centennial. One of my absolute favourite hops. While everyone else was loving Cascade, I was showing my love for the Centennial. That was many moons ago, dear viewer. That was probably over 10 years ago now. But I still do like a good Centennial beer. And the clarity is really good. I mean, it's frosting up a little bit because I've had this in the fridge. But that is not at all bad for a pale ale. Old school. Should have some, what's it called? A crystal. Should have crystal malt in it if it's a West Coast. But no, none at all. You can tell by the colour, and it looks very lager-like. Apart from the sort of the lack of extreme carbonation. Oh my god, my nose is so itchy today. Sorry about that, dear viewer. Right, let us dive in. Before we do that, the normal shout out. Think about subscribing to the channel, click like, leave some comments down below, even if it's just to say hello. Apparently leaving comments helps the algorithm, as they call it. I appease or try to appease the gods of YouTube, as you well know, dear viewer. Cheers and beers, and we'll see what we get from this one. Ooh. That's nice, actually. The Simcoe is giving a little bit of that juiciness thing, but I mean, this is a really light beer, and it doesn't have any oats in it. So it's giving that kind of juiciness, but because it's so light, it's not a super full-on glass of juice. This is just a sort of little hint of juice, making your mouth water a little bit. But then we've also got things like, there's definitely the orange kind of thing from the Simcoe, but then there's that kind of bubblegummy cherry kind of weird thing that I seem to always get from Centennial. And there is, pardon me, there is a lot of grassy notes in there too. But fundamentally, this is quite a light ale, which is nice. I just hate the name Session IPA. Just put it this way, if I went out to a pub and it said Session IPA, I wouldn't buy it. If it said Pale Ale, I would buy it. So bear that in mind. Craft beer people, you're trying to con everyone. You're going to be doing Session Fresh Ale next. There's a term you're going to hear over the next year. Especially if you like a nice hand pump in the pub, which I do. I don't mind a bottle, and I don't mind draft that much, but I'd much prefer good old hand pump. Oh. So yeah, nice watery kind of things. Nice tasting, yeah. Simcoe, it's weird. Centennial, love it. I've always loved it. Comet, Comet is kind of a sort of Citra or a Cascade kind of replacement in my eyes. Simcoe, I don't usually like that much, but it's in so many beers these days. And it's interesting to see Simcoe without Mosaic, because they kind of have a bit of a crossover. Simcoe is a lot more kind of fruity, a lot more juicy, whereas Mosaic gives that kind of tropical vibe. I mean, the Simcoe does, it kind of gives a little bit of a grapefruity thing, grapefruit, stroke orange, stroke generic citrus, whatever you want to call it. But it's a kind of juicy kind of one. Whereas sometimes, I suppose Mosaic you could describe as a tropical fruit like lilt, or a kind of supermarket kind of tropical fruit juice. And that's kind of what I lean to more. But I'm having to say, in the right proportions, nice. This is actually nice and refreshing. Sorry. So, dear viewer, I don't know if you've heard about fresh ale. They call it fresh ale. So what Carlsberg, is it? I think Carlsberg or Heineken, one of those two, have decided to do, the people that own Marston's and stuff, what they've decided to do is put draft beer in a keg through a hand pump, basically because a keg lasts longer than a cask does. So they're trying to get the creaminess into the beer, with it being a fully dead beer, because they pasteurized it. So basically, they're doing it to make more money off you, dear viewer, like always. But when you have a really good cask ale, there's nothing that can touch it. Nothing at all. Draft is just dead. It tastes dead. You might as well drink a bottle of lager, in my opinion. But they've decided to try this out, and a lot of camera members, including me, don't like the fact that they're trying to fool you. If they were kind of open and honest about it, perhaps, from my point of view, I would be less annoyed. But what I don't like is people trying to fool people, trying to pretend that it's one thing when in fact it is another thing. We shall see, dear viewer. It will be a real shame if we lose cask ale because, you know, people that were drinking before me back in the 70s, in St Albans, and kind of West London, especially Ealing, and obviously up north too, fought against the lager, macro lager brews. They're kind of doing that again, but these mega kind of breweries are buying up all the smaller craft breweries, plus, you know, micro breweries and things like that. They're buying them up and then basically slowly changing things, changing recipes, putting things in cans, putting things in kegs, and when they were in cask to start with, and making money off it. As I said in, I think it was the last video, might have been the one before, I lose track, dear viewer. Vote with your feet. If you do not like somewhere, even if everyone, your friends and everyone's going there, take a stand, do not go there. Or if you do go there, do not spend your money in places that you do not like. Vote with your feet. Cheers and beers. Wow. I have to say that is quite a nice pale ale beer. Yeah, inoffensive. Wow, I really got that kind of bubblegummy thing from that last sip. Really cool. Snatch and Ungrab, West Coast. Oh Jesus, West Coast Session IPA. I mean, absolutely nuts. Just why are you doing that? Northern Monk and Heist Brew. There we go. Nice collaboration. And it's what this Northern Monk book is all about. I think this is cool. And I believe I have got another box on the way. Will I get it before the end of the week? Don't know. For some unknown reason, Beer 52 have a problem getting their beers out on time. So sometimes when you've paid, when the money leaves your account, it's a good 4 or 5 days sometimes before you actually get the beers, which is crazy because if you bought beers directly from Northern Monk, I believe they have a box that you can opt into, a monthly box. I believe they do next day delivery, which is fantastic, and it's pretty standard for breweries. Hey, what can we do, dear viewer? What can we do? I know what we can do. We can drink more beer, can't we? Come on. This has been your loving Unclejona drinking beers so you guys don't have to. Sorry, I was looking out the window there and the sun is still up and it's like, yeah, the time is marching on. It's ridiculous. You guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Remember, Unclejona will return with another beer review real soon.